What's going on, guys? Duo Bros here today, back at you with another video. And today we are going to be talking about, here, let me grab you and bring you over to the dark side. Today we are going to be talking about the Don Krieg pirates. I'm doing a series called The Big Four, or The Four Kings, depending which kind you like. Now, give me 1 second, what is this? Okay, Don Krieg is going to be number 1 right now. He is known as the ruler of the East Blue. So all of the area that Luffy begins in is his. Okay? And that's a big deal because at this point in the story, we were fighting Riff Raff. Okay? Don Krieg is the first big name we fight. Okay? So it is imperative that I get his character just right. Let me demonstrate something for you. That's Don Krieg. Okay? Remember that, Don Krieg. Alright, so now I'm going to sit down and move you guys over here. Just like an airplane. Okay, so firstly, Don Krieg. What is Don Krieg about? Well, he basically wants to be a conqueror. Okay, so what he does is he builds a large fleet around himself, him being the driving force behind it all. He is super strong by himself. That is his only real strength, is having numbers, okay? Now, he does have super strength, don't get me wrong, but in the One Piece world, that's kind of like every other male character out there, okay? Super strength is not necessarily needed. It's not something that is necessarily going to get you on top in the One Piece world, okay? So, when we talk about Don Krieg, there's a few things we have to keep in mind. One, who is he? Well, we don't get that full backstory. In fact, we don't get really any facts about him in his past. But one thing we do get is that we know he's extremely deceptive. Okay, he was a criminal who was caught. When he was caught, he killed a Marine and wore his clothing, getting onto enemy ships, Marine ships, and capturing their vessels. And he did something similar to a pirate back in history, where he would basically conquer the ship and tell all the Navy men who were on the ship, well, if you don't join me, I'm going to chop your head off. Okay? And that's exactly what he did, and that's how he amassed such a large fleet. A fleet of 5,000 men. That's a huge fleet. That's a big deal. Now, Don Krieg, again, is super strong. Okay? His spear weighs 2 tons. Okay, that's 4,000 pounds that he's swinging around with one arm. And it explodes. So the shock of the explosion is something else to consider when we're talking about his strength, okay? Because he swings that thing down, it explodes, he's still holding it in one arm. Okay, so not only does it weigh 2 tons, he can absorb the shock? He can, I don't know where the shock goes, guys. I have no idea. But, he can just use that thing all day, be like, boom, 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 and it explodes with a large amount of force every time it hits. Now, again, he's not super strong, but he's deceptive. Well, no, I'm sorry. He is super strong, he's just deceptive with it. And that's what made him become the ruler of the East Blue. That's his official title that everybody knows him as, the ruler of the East Blue. Now, he tried to dabble in the Grand Line, as we later found out, and he got his booty whipped by none other than one of the 7 warlords, Hawkeye Mihawk. Yep. Took out his entire fleet, left him and basically the top 3, including 100 other members of his crew alive. So, don't mess with Mihawk. But, why you want to mess with Don Krieg? Well, again, dude's super strong, he's massive, he's ape-like. He has Woot's armor, which is this golden-plated steel that is super heated, super tough, can deflect cannonballs, as we saw at the Bartier when Patty shot him with a bazooka at point-blank range. Thing exploded. Don Krieg was smiling. He was happy, he was just fine. Okay? So, Woot's armor aside, what else does Don Krieg have in his arsenal? Well, I'll tell you. He basically does this move to begin with at at Mihawk, where he goes, and it all opens up, and guns come out, and he shoots like a machine gun out of everywhere, and just opens fires on Mihawk. Of course it doesn't do anything. Mihawk escapes because he's bored or whatever, who knows. but it's still pretty cool that he has about 8 guns hidden underneath his boots armor. Okay, another thing he has is a diamond fist. It's not real practical. It just goes really well with his super strength. I'd imagine when he combines the hardness of the diamond with his strength that he's got, again, 2 tons, 4,000 pounds of impact. You know, that could kill somebody. Just done, right? So, and I can't even get into this right now. Just thinking about this makes my brain hurt. But we do know how Don Krieg was defeated. It was so sad. Luffy knocked him out with a bazooka. His 2 hands being the bazooka. And that was the end of the ruler of the East Blue. Okay? Now, again, Don Krieg is a pretty cool character. He was really the first major villain that was name-dropped in the East Blue Saga. He was the biggest deal at the time. And, you know, looking back on it, he's such a small figure compared to the guys we're seeing now, like Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, Blackbeard. But, again, he was relevant at the time. With his super strength, his deception, his hidden weapons everywhere, the 3 combined made him definitely a force to be reckoned with. He had this giant wrecking ball kind of whip thing that he would, I believe it was called something like a mace, or I don't remember the actual term for it, but again, he would, and it would explode, and it was crazy. And again, that thing weighed like 2 tons as well, so he's swinging that around with no problem. Again, 1 arm, which is crazy. Another thing about Don Krieg, you know, we get a little bit into his character. He is a scumbag. He's an a-hole. He's not very likable from the standpoint of us who like the good guys, you know. He's not a good guy. He's actually a really, really bad guy. We see how he treats his crew. He caps anybody that talks back to him. I mean, completely just shoots them, drops dead right there. So there's no sympathy or empathy between him and his crew. It's just strictly business. Let's conquer, nothing else. I don't care for you. I care about only me, so make me money. His character design's pretty cool. So he has purple hair, pretty cool. Yellow armor, which goes really well together. He's got a really cool coat that he wears, a captain's coat. And it's a really cool design. I suggest taking it out. So his epithet, again, is the ruler of the East Blue. And the East Blue is the weakest sea, so that's not much of a title worldwide, but it is a title local. And it's a pretty big title, and was at the time of the series. Again, his design's pretty cool. I think Oda was kind of going for this panther type of vibe with him. Like, he's not a lion, but he's a panther. You know, he's dangerous. He's not quite as dangerous as a lion, but he's still up there, and he uses deception along with his strength. He's not as strong as a lion, but he uses deception to make up for that strength. I think that's kind of the blind message Oda was trying to convey to us with his design, because if you look at his cape, or his shirt rather, on the back, it's got jaguar spots on it, leopard spots on it, whatever, and that's a symbol of a big cat, which is highly respected because of deception and strength. So that's something to keep in mind when thinking about Don Krieg. I think that's a pretty good way to describe him. He's not a lion, but he is a big cat. Moving on, though, to his number 2, the Demon, Gin. Gin's pretty cool. He's got these spinny things with a ball on him. Again, I don't know what they're called. It's a Japanese weapon, and it's kind of like a jute, kind of, but he uses it to spin super, super fast. So it's like, and then he hits you with it, and the combined force of the spin along with the impact will put anybody on the ground. I mean, we saw what happened to Pearl. I mean, Pearl almost died. It was crazy. The impact shattered Pearl's armor, and Pearl dropped down. It was over. And a strong character like Sanji was beaten by Gin, respectively. So Gin, on the other hand, is a respectable character. You know, he is just a man who followed the wrong person, as Sanji put it. He's extremely loyal. His design isn't the coolest, but it's got enough flair to it that you can like the guy. You know, it's not like an everyday anime character, but it's a little better than that. But again, I didn't feel much for Gin at the beginning, but rewatching the series and seeing him again and again, definitely a cool character. He can do crazy stuff, I mean crazy feats, and again, I didn't think much of it when I first watched the series when I was like 12 years old. But rewatching it now, yes, Gin is definitely a cool character. Again, he can use those things all day long, fracture bones, break armor, incredible speed. I mean, crazy speed. And that's why they call him the Demon, because he can knock people out all day like that. Like, he's a demon. He has this moment, so he is actually the first person we see out of the Don Krieg pirates. Don Krieg isn't even the first one we see. It's actually Gin, and he's begging for food for his captain before himself. And that's the kind of man Gin is. He is extremely loyal to his captain. So he's like, please give us food. Sanji gives Gin food, Gin eats, and then Sanji gives Don Krieg food, and Don Krieg eats. Gin is super thankful. Don Krieg, I'm taking over the place. You know, he's trying to take the Bartier, which is the floating restaurant, for himself. And Gin tries to stop him. Gin tries his best to deter, you know, Don Krieg because of the kindness they received. Of course, Don Krieg doesn't listen, and they get into the fight they have. Now, Gin was so nice, okay? I can't even begin to describe it. They were enemies against the Straw Hats. But when Gin fought Sanji, he was blasted with Don Krieg's MGH. So Don Krieg rears back, he's like, I'm tired of this, and shoots out a giant poison bomb that would have wiped out all the Straw Hats, would have wiped out everybody at the Bartier, unless you had a gas mask. And Gin gives up his gas mask to save Luffy, puts it on him, Luffy can breathe, everything's good. Okay, except Gin gets hit by the gas because he no longer has a gas mask, and he inhales the gas fully. He's bleeding at the mouth, he's turning purple, it's disgusting, he's dying, and we never get a confirmation whether or not he survived, but the poisoning, you know, the antidote wasn't enough to kill the poison, so he may be dead, he may not. We don't know. We didn't get any confirmation. So then, that's pretty much Gin's character in a nutshell. He does get in some pretty cool fights with Sanji, some pretty cool scenes. He's like, and just completely goes ape on Sanji. Cracks a few ribs, I think he even cracked his shin, and Sanji's got kicking abilities, so he's probably had micro fractures in his shins that have hardened them up over time with calcium buildup. So that's pretty cool to think about, that Gin just cracked his shin. So Gin was a really nice character, really nice villain, because it was conflicted. You know, he felt the kindness, but his captain was ordering him, so he had to follow the orders that his captain gave him. The next guy is the best guy on the crew. This guy could have easily defeated post-time skip Straw Hats, okay, by himself. He just happened to have a bad day. And that is Pearl. That's right, Pearl. Unbreakable Pearl. Pearl. I like saying that, Pearl. So what was Pearl's deal? Well, Pearl was known as the Unbreakable Man, okay, because he had this armor that was shaped in a circular kind of design with a pearl on it. And he had a pearl helmet, pearl shoulder pads, pearl everything. And I guess pearls are hard. I don't know. I haven't tested it. I might, after this video, I might go out and buy a pearl about that big and get a hammer and see what happens. But Pearl was known as the Unbreakable Man. He had epic armor, and he decided to fight Sanji and take his place as number 3 of the crew. In fact, I think he even tries to argue that he is the best fighter in the crew. So he tries to take on Sanji. You know, it's an epic battle between him and Sanji. Sanji kicks him a little bit. Pearl feels nothing to prove him, you know, to prove that he's unbreakable. Sanji isn't sure what to do. In the meantime, Luffy's fighting Don Krieg, and they're getting into it. Don Krieg tries to swing his mace, and the giant ball comes crashing down. Luffy bounces it back with his Gum Gum bazooka, and the ball crashes into the mast of Don Krieg's ship. And then that mast comes right down onto Pearl's head, and Pearl is knocked out. And that's pretty much the end of Pearl. But how can I talk about Pearl without mentioning this one factor. Now, honestly, and speaking on all honesty, this is like every kid that pulls out the anger card that I've ever seen. You know, when a kid is like, you don't want to make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You know, and then takes a massive dump. Pearl's kind of like that. Okay, when he got mad, he all of a sudden spontaneously combusted. Flames, blue flames shot out of him. He's like, Flaming Pearl! And he shoots stuff at Zeph. The little pearls that were on fire, didn't matter. Zeph kicked them, wiped out the flames. And that, again, that's all there was to Pearl. I mean, that mask hit his head. He went down. Pretty sure he died. Realistically, I think he did die. No big deal. But yeah, no, that was the first episode of my discussion videos on the 4 kings of the East Blue. The next one is going to be Captain Kuro. And I'm not doing this in any particular order because I want to hit them all on the nose with facts. I don't want to go into this blind and make up stuff as I go and it not be correct for you guys. But all in all, overview of the whole topic. Don Krieg was a really cool character when I was a kid. I think a lot of us saw him on Toonami when we were growing up. He was the first real badass character that I can remember off the top of my head. Just a super powerful guy using deception. Had a cool crew. Again, only 1 or 2 strong fighters on his crew. Had a crew of 5,000 people. Was wiped out by Mihawk. Mihawk wiped them all out, except for the top 3. And 100 people, but again, those 100 people are just riffraff people. You know, they're nothing special. So, again, guys, love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe if you want more. And just let me know. Comment down. Let me know what you guys are thinking. You know, I do have a stuttering problem. I'm getting used to the camera. I finally got this thing. Whoa. It's a PC, so I can actually edit stuff. So we'll see how this turns out. But anyway, guys, have a good night. Subscribe. Duo Bros, signing out.